The year was 2349, and Earth had at last reached the galactic fringe. The starship Aurora Wind wasn't a warship, but a surveyor long, silver, and built to unfold solar sails like a flower. Its crew of 30 carried no weapons beyond cutting lasers. Their mission, map a stretch of uncharted dark space known as the Chasmite Drift, where every probe had gone silent. Lieutenant Jonas Rhee, xenogeologist, had volunteered for the trip because of an old photograph, his grandmother's face at the launch of the first warp ship. He wanted to stand where no human had ever stood. Yet as soon as they entered the drift, Jonas felt something watching, the stars themselves flickering like eyes. On the second week the Aurora Wind encountered an impossible sight, a planet-sized orb of glass, smooth and flawless, hanging in darkness with no star nearby. Instruments showed it was hollow, humming faintly in the radio spectrum, as if singing to itself. Captain Tarrant authorized a landing on the glass world. Jonas led the first team down. The surface was like walking on frozen diamond. Beneath their boots shimmered shadows of structures, as though cities lay just under the surface. No atmosphere, no visible entrances, until Jonas's glove brushed a faint spiral etched into the glass. It flared, and a seam opened like a giant iris. Inside lay a cathedral of light and echoes. The air tasted metallic but breathable. Geometric towers floated like stalagmites upside down. The walls whispered in a language of clicks and pulses no one recognized. Jonas recorded everything, heart-hammering. As they moved deeper, the crew's neural implants began picking up stray signals, flashes of memories, feelings that weren't their own. One engineer collapsed, muttering about voices of glass. Jonas alone seemed unaffected. The alien echoes felt to him like vibrations he could almost translate. At the heart of the planet they found a chamber of memories, billions of crystal spires arranged like a forest. When Jonas touched one, a vision filled his mind, stars collapsing, luminous beings fleeing into data, encoding themselves into the glass to survive the death of their sun. They were called the Nyari, not dead, but asleep. Their civilization had poured itself into the glass world as an archive until someone came who could sing the right frequencies to awaken them. Jonas realized his neural patterns, shaped by a genetic quirk, resonated with the Nyari code. He could act as a bridge. But the captain panicked. The more Jonas touched the spires, the stronger the planet's hum became, destabilizing the crust. Tarrant ordered the chamber sealed and the ship evacuated. Jonas faced an impossible choice: obey orders and leave, or awaken a lost species. He stayed behind when the others retreated, pressing his hands and forehead to the central spire. A flood of alien consciousness surged into him, not hostile, but ancient and frightened. It spoke without words. "We will shatter if we rise alone. Sing for us." Using his implant, Jonas broadcast a harmonic pattern across the chamber. The glass trembled, splitting into hexagonal plates that floated upward. Above, the Aurora Wind prepared to depart as seismic waves rippled under its landing gear. Then the plates assembled themselves into shapes, Nyari avatars of light, towering like living statues. They surrounded Jonas, shielding him from falling debris. Through him they spoke into the ship's calm: "We remember. We choose peace. We ask passage." Act V, the glass horizon. With Jonas as translator, the Nyari negotiated their rebirth. They transferred fragments of their consciousness into portable lattices, small enough to fit into the Aurora Wind's cargo holds. In return they taught humanity the physics of resonant drives, which could fold space without tearing it, a technology far beyond warp. When they finally left the drift, Jonas stood at the observation window. The glass planet shrank behind them, but a thin luminous line rose from its surface, like a horizon made of light, marking the start of a new age. He was no longer quite alone in his mind. The Nyari whispered curiosity and gratitude. Yet his thoughts were still his own, and his heartbeat still his. For the first time he understood why humans had been able to reach this far, not just for conquest or discovery, but to carry other voices forward. Years later, people would call Jonas Rhee the singer of glass. The Nyari, reborn in human space, became partners in exploration. And deep inside him, when the stars grew cold and silent, he could still feel the glass world humming, a reminder that sometimes humanity's greatest adventure isn't finding new worlds, but awakening old ones.